Hi, good evening, kings and queens all across the nation. As you know, this is Mr. Smith, point five of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and I am the co-founder of the royalty movement. And first of all, I just want to thank you for being a part of the royalty movement and investing time into yourself. You see, it's strongly important for you to invest time into yourself. And this presentation will really break down the importance of you and the role that it plays as it relates to your net worth. In this training, as you can see, the title is How to Increase Your Net Worth. This is important, and a lot of times when it comes to net worth, people tend to only get one-sided or think about it from one perspective. And I got to be honest, this will highlight some things that you may not be thinking of as it relates to your net worth. But I got to admit, we're guilty of it as it relates to not fully expressing this particular portion that we'll dive deeper into and how it relates to your net worth. If we express this a little bit more, I think you'll understand why we are so serious about some of the things that we're redundant on as it relates to the things that we train on as it relates to you building your business. So, how to increase your net worth. And I want you to start thinking of some things right now at the sound of my voice of what you consider to be net worth. Like, what are some things that you consider to be net worth? If you just have to narrow it down to one word, exactly what comes to mind when you think about net worth? And I'm pretty sure I can guess what that one word that might be that comes to mind as it relates to net worth. I'm sure I can guess, if you were to choose a couple of different words, what it means to you to have net worth. And that's only a part of it. So you're not wrong in whatever you guess, but most people, whenever they think about net worth, they think about this. Now, before I tell you what they think about most of the time, type in the comments, what is it that you think about? What comes to mind when you hear the word net worth? What comes to mind? Type that in the comments. Just a couple of people just put in the comments what comes to mind when you think of your net worth. The queen said money. The queen said money. Is it anybody else that thinks about money when they think about their net worth? That wouldn't be a bad answer if it is. But what comes to your mind when you think about the word net worth? Now, for most people, that is money, as you can see. For most people, when they think about their net worth, they think about money. And that's not a bad thing, because money is important. They say money is right up there with oxygen. Money is not everything, but they say it's right up there with oxygen. And I'm going to tell a little story as it relates to money and as it relates to oxygen. And you may have heard this story before. You may have just heard it in a different form. But, I remember back in the days when I was going swimming at this particular park. If you're in the Arkansas area, North Little Rock to be exact, there's a park, a theme park called Wild River Country. And it's a big water park that has slides, a wave pool, and rafts, all sorts of things. And it was a time that I went, and I was younger, but I didn't know how to swim. I hadn't quite grasped the concept of swimming, especially against big waves. And it was at a time when the waves come on and you can hear a big buzz, you hear a big siren that says, and that lets you know you need to get somewhere out of the way if you don't know how to swim, because the waves are coming and they are pretty big. So the buzzer went off, and I caught myself getting to a safe spot, but those waves came and took me under faster than I realized it. And when I was going under, and I knew that I didn't know how to swim, the only thing I could think about was one thing and one thing only: breathing, getting some fresh air. What do I have to do to make sure I do not drown on this field trip or adventure or whatever it is I was doing? Make sure I do not drown. I need to get home. And the only thing I could think about was, how can I get some oxygen? In fact, I almost drowned somebody else trying to save myself, trying to get some oxygen. I almost drowned somebody else. I can see his face to this day when I think about it, because I pulled on him to leverage and pull myself up just to get some oxygen, because that was the number one important thing at the time. Nothing else mattered. Not money, not what I wanted to eat, not how anybody else was doing. The only thing I cared about at that time was oxygen. And this is the thing as it relates to money. They tell a story that's similar to that as it relates to the guru story, and they say, how bad do you want to be successful? How bad do you want to, achieve your goals? And they say, when you want it as bad as you want to breathe, then you will be successful. Well, at that time, it was nothing else I wanted to do more than breathe. Now, this is what you got to understand about money. Most of the times, if you don't have money, it's at the forefront of your mind, just like oxygen was at the forefront of my mind at the time, meaning that that's the only thing that you may be thinking about if you don't have much of it. However, knowing that it's an abundance of oxygen around you, you're not walking around always thinking about it because you know it's going to be there. You can take a deep breath right now. You know oxygen will be there. If you take a breath 10 seconds from now, you know it's going to be there. So you're not thinking about it all the time. You're grateful for it, but you're not thinking about it all the time. However, money, if you lack it, you find yourself thinking about it all the time. So you got to get money out of the way as an issue. So I will not say that money isn't important, but it's not the only thing as it relates to your net worth. You definitely got to get money out of the way as an issue, and that's what my econ is all about, personal financial success. We can help you in the areas of money so that you get that out of the way as an issue, because when you're only thinking about money, I promise you, it really takes you away from your purpose in life. Because you can't contribute as much as you truly should be contributing because you're worried about the bottom line. You're worried about ends meet. You're worried about trying to get through the week, trying to get through the month. So it's hard for you to focus on your purpose and really help people if you're only thinking about money. So you got to get money out of the way. And I'm going to show you what things you need to increase as it relates to your net worth that play a huge part in money. So what else comes to mind when you think about net worth outside of money? And these are things that are money related, but another thing that tends to come to mind for people when they think about their net worth is savings. And savings is an amazing thing. You definitely want to have a savings for yourself. And my econ, as you know, we teach. The thing you should have in place is your emergency fund or your contingency fund, which is 3 months worth of living expenses that allows you to sustain in the event that something pops up unexpectedly. Something that happens with your car, something that happens with your home, something that happens, while traveling or with a family member, anything. You need to have some form of a savings. And then once you get that small savings of the 3 months worth of living expenses, then you want to move up to your full or your true emergency fund, which is 6 months of living expenses. And this can help a person if they were to lose their job. Let's say you're working a job and you lose your job. If you have 6 months of living expenses, I promise you, you'll stress a lot less than the individual who only has a week's worth of living expenses. So you got to understand the power in it. It gives you leverage. And when you have leverage and when you have that sense of security, life is a bit more easy. So that does factor into your net worth, but it's not the only thing, and it's an area that a lot of people spend time focusing on that may not bring them or increase their net worth consistently. What's another area? Investments. Investments are your long-term money. This is money that you put in a place to where when you're no longer able to work, when you get to a place to where you no longer even want to work, now you want to live off of your investments. Those are the long-term investments. That's the retirement. You want to set those things up so that when that time comes, you can enjoy the fruits of your labor due to the decisions that you made on a day-to-day by putting your money in a place where it has the ability to grow. That's what my econ is all about. You increasing your cash flow in all areas so you can minimize certain expenses, certain debts, so you can put more of your income, more of your cash flow into your investments, which cover you for your future years. Understand that. Last but not least on this list of what most people think about as it relates to their net worth is credit. You see, credit is leverage as well. It's the ability it's buying power in a sense of you're able to leverage other people's money. You're able to go to a bank and qualify for a loan and get that car if you couldn't pay for it in cash. You're able to go to the bank and qualify for their mortgage and get that home that you desire and deserve to have if you're not in a position to do it. So credit plays a huge part as it relates to your net worth. So that being said, you definitely want to focus on all of those things. And like I said, my econ has you covered. That's not per se what this video is about. I just want to hit on what most people solely think about as it relates to their net worth. And that's money, that's savings, that's investment, that's credit. And when I say money, I'm talking about income as well. So that could be your job, that could be your business, that could be active income, meaning that you're actively in pursuit of that income. But if you're not actively doing what you have to do to earn it, like going to work and clocking in or doing certain things to earn that income, then that income goes away. So you also want to have passive income as well, because that allows you to have money coming in when you're not working for it, because you did the work previously. So when I think about money, it's income, it's passive income, it's all forms of income, but you also have to consider savings, investing, and credit. And those things are some things that come to mind for people who, when you think about the term net worth. However, as it relates to those things, like I said, you're not wrong if those things came to your mind. Those answers make you partially right. But it's something else that you have to consider as it relates to your net worth. And that's what this training is more so about. You see, when it comes to money, money is a byproduct. It's a tool, but it's a byproduct of these things that you see on this screen. You see it's 4 different quadrants here. You got the dollar sign represents the money. I'm pretty sure you can guess what's in this lower left corner. That represents health. And then you see this megaphone, that represents your reach, your influence, your voice. And then you see this head, and that represents your knowledge, and the trophy in there just represents, you know, your skill sets, your expertise, your achievement. So all of these go hand in hand, but money is just a byproduct of these things. Let me give you an example. If your health wasn't intact, like me, I was drowning in the pool. All I wanted to do was breathe. It's people who are literally, you know, on their deathbed or in a place to where the only thing they're concerned about is living on a day-to-day or making it through the next week. They may be on life support. They may be going through some type of, you know, rehab, or going through some type of, you know, cancer-related things. There's a lot of things that go on, and the only thing that person may be thinking about is their health. So if you're not in your full health, money doesn't even matter. You can have all of the money in the world, but if your health isn't intact, it's not important. However, if your health is intact and you're able to hear the sound of my voice, you're able to see the screen, you're able to comprehend what it is that I'm saying, that is a part of your net worth. And you got to value that. And a lot of times we take the things that we're able to do for granted. The fact that we have fingers and toes and legs and a voice to speak, ears to hear, eyes to see, we take those things for granted. And if it's other people who wish they had the capabilities that you have, because they understand, since they no longer have it, or they don't have it, or they weren't born with it, they understand that all of those things contribute to the value that you possess. They contribute to your net worth. So health is a part of your net worth. I want you to understand that. We'll get deeper into this megaphone, your voice, your influence, as well as your knowledge and your skills. But money is a byproduct of all of these. If you have your health intact, and you have some knowledge and some skills, and you have a voice and some influence, the money will come if you have these things intact. So money is just a byproduct. So I want us to get in the habit of not just focusing on the money, but focusing on the fact that we are healthy and we are capable, because it taps into you being grateful. It taps into gratitude. And I've learned that the more grateful you are for what it is that you do have, whether it's health, whether it's family, you attract more things to be grateful for. So if you just take a step back and you realize the power that you possess as it relates to just being healthy, just being able to comprehend and live and go from day to day, you attract more things that will allow you to say, you know what, I'm grateful for this. And then comes the money, you know. So understand the power in that. Now, let's dive in a little deeper, because this is what the training is more so about as it relates to your net worth and things you need to be doing on a consistent basis in order to grow your net worth consistently. Now, my econ has you covered on all of the money things, all of the strategies, all of the tools, but it's some things that you have to be doing on a regular basis if you truly want to increase your net worth. You have to be doing some things on your end. It's not going to just fall in your lap. Everybody who enrolled into my econ either has a goal of bettering their personal finances so they can have wealth for themselves and their family, or they want to help others, or both. And that's us. We want to do both. We want to definitely break the generational curse of poverty for our family, but at the same time, we want to help so many people get access to things that are not taught in schools, are not taught at homes in most cases because the parents don't tend to know it. So it's up to us to learn it and break that generational curse. So if you didn't grow up with money, that's not your fault. But if you live a life and never have wealth, prosperity, a net worth, the ability to help others, then that is your fault. So now you're in a position to where you can understand what it takes, what it's going to require in order for you to increase your net worth, so you don't have to be the person that leaves the next person in a worse position than you started off. You always want to treat it like a relay race. You want to look at life like a relay race. When a runner is running and they're about to pass that baton, they don't want to pass the baton to where their partner that's following up behind them is in a worse position than how they started off the race. They want to put them in a better position because it heightens the chances of them winning the race. It heightens the chances of the team progressing a little further just because they ran a little faster. So you got to treat life the same way. You got to treat wealth the same way, increasing your net worth the same way, so that when you pass the baton, the next person in line is in a better place. So let's dive in to these things. Now, all of those factors are important. Like I said, money is a byproduct, and it's not to get away and say that money isn't important, because it is extremely important. It's right up there with oxygen, but it's just a byproduct. So as you can see from these 7 squares, money is in the middle because it's a byproduct of the health, skills, influence. But other things that are in conjunction with money is credit, investments, savings. All of those are in alignment with money. So as it relates to your net worth, one of the first things you have to do, one of the first things you have to understand is you just got to take a cold, hard look at where you currently are. What does your credit look like? What does your savings look like? What does your investments look like? What does your income look like? And if you look at your credit and you say, you know what, I'm at a 580. You look at your savings, you say, you know what, I got $2 saved. If you look at your investments and you say, I have none, that's okay. The first step is to accept it. As you can see, number 1, accept it. Just accept the fact that you are in that situation, whatever it is. And you may have great credit, great savings, great investments, or you might have one thing that's off. Regardless of what it is, take a look at it and accept it. So if your credit score is in the 500s, okay, just accept it. If your savings is $2 or $3, okay, accept it. If your investing is non-existent, accept it. If your income isn't where you want it to be, accept it. But don't stay there long. You spend the shortest amount of time accepting it. We just need you to know where you are. Like a GPS, if you don't know where you are, it can't tell you where you're going. It don't even tell you. It don't even know how to tell you how to get from where you are to where you're going if you don't list a current location, or if they can't determine where you're currently located. The same is true for your net worth. The same is true for your finances. You have to know where you are, accept it. But you don't want to stay there long, because immediately after you accept it, you need to, number 2, reject it. Now, what do you mean by reject it, Mr. Smith? How can you possibly accept it and reject it? Well, this is what I mean. Just because that's your current situation doesn't mean that has to be your determined or indefinite situation. So the moment that you see where it is, don't accept it wholeheartedly as if it cannot change. You reject it immediately, set a goal for where you want it to be, and focus on that. So when you're rejecting it, you're not just rejecting it and just brushing it off, sweeping it under the rug, putting it under the bed, and acting like it does not exist. No, you're setting a goal for where you want it to be. Okay, my credit is at 580, but I'm heading towards 780. Okay, my savings is $2, but I'm heading towards 2,000. Okay, my investment is non-existent, but I'm heading towards having a net worth of $1 millionaire. You gotta set that goal, even if you set them in small increments. And once you set those goals, you accept it. Don't stay there long. You reject it and you focus on that goal. And now that you have that goal in mind, you have to do whatever it takes in order to progress it. So you gotta drive those goals. How do you progress it? You need to be doing something. I say weekly, but at least bare minimum monthly, to make sure that those things are growing. Look at your credit and say, okay, how can I grow this every 45 days, every month? What can I be doing week to week to make sure that each month and each week my savings is increasing? What can I be doing week after week to make sure my investments are increasing? So once you set the goal and you focus on progressing it, now you're looking at your situation different. You're like, okay, I have a goal. So now, okay, my credit is here. Now I'm putting some things in place, and you look up next month and your credit has increased. Your savings has increased, and you want to celebrate those successes. Once you make some progression, it's important for you to celebrate those successes. So if you see that your credit score jumped 50 points, your savings went up $100, your investments started with $200, then you want to celebrate that success, because that represents progress. And many times people feel successful just because they're making progress. Truth be told, success, all it is progress. So if you're making progress, then you're experiencing success. But you don't want to rest there. You want to keep progressing and keep progressing and keep progressing. And next thing you know, you got a 750 plus credit score. Savings account is looking like 6 months plus worth of living expenses, and investments are growing rapidly. And now you can position yourself for early retirement. But it doesn't happen if you don't first observe it so you can accept it. Don't stay there long, reject it, set those goals so you can progress it. And you need to be monitoring these things on a weekly or monthly basis. Write it down. Use a calendar and say, okay, I want to write down my credit number. Take it, jot it down. I want to write down exactly what's in my savings account. Take that, jot it down. I want to write down exactly what's in my investing account. Take that, write it down. I want to look at my income and see, okay, my job is bringing me this. I have no other outside income. I need to increase my income some way. Can I get a raise at my job? Chances are you probably can't. Can I do something to get more money from my job? Or can I just start building my business? Can I start building my income by sharing what it is that we do, what we have access to, and now I'm getting those weekly checks? See, it never should be a week that goes by that you shouldn't get that email that says your cash flow increased. It's one of the best feelings. Just seeing that email, your cash flow just increased. Translation, you just made money. Because these things contribute to you increasing your net worth. If you're not getting a weekly email that says your cash flow has increased, there's a good chance your net worth is not increasing. So we have to do something about that. We have to find out ways to bring in more money. Outside of the strategies, income shifting will definitely show you how to minimize your taxes, get out of debt, and credit boosting that would allow you to, pay less in interest, all things that contribute to your cash flow. So outside of that, you want to increase your income, because truth be told, it's the income that really adds fuel to your goals. Getting your credit intact is great. Having your savings and getting some income to where you're getting those weekly emails is great. But the real money lies when you help 500 people and now you EVP Infinity and you making 5 figures a year, or you're making 6 figures a year, all because you decided to help others. Or you got 1,000 people on your team and you're making a 6-figure income, $8,000 plus a month, all because you decided to really take it serious. That's where the real money lies. So don't settle for just being in my econ and just focusing on the income shifting strategies. Understand that you driving your income and making progression is where the real money lies, because it contributes to all other things. Now, let's focus on those letters that are in white, outside of the accept, reject, and progress, because you have to take that I've given you, and you also have to apply that to your health, your influence, or your voice, or your reach, whatever you want to call it, and your skills. Now, health, I won't spend too much time speaking on that. I have my perspectives on health, but it's strongly important. So you want to be making sure you're taking care of yourself, eating right, dieting or working out, whatever you need to do to increase your health, and find a way to scale that as well. The same way I said you want to monitor your credit, your saving, your investment, your income, you want to do that with your health. You want to see how are you progressing health-wise if you feel that you aren't healthy, or if you're on track, then stay on track, and figure out how you can progress it or at least maintain it. But let's focus on influence and skills. That's where I want to spend the bulk of this time on. I want to spend a bulk of time on influence and skills, because a lot of people do not view their influence, their voice, their reach, their skills as a part of net worth, because most people are drawn to only thinking about money. Now, thinking about money solely, that's old school. Not that it isn't important and still relevant, but your influence and your skills are strongly valuable as it pertains to your net worth. If you look at any person who's considered to be a social influencer, online, offline, then I guarantee you, if their influence has grown drastically, money will follow, because influence has value. Influence has net worth. Skills. If you have a skill that somebody else can benefit from, that brings the money in, because skills have value. If they were putting together a brand new country and you were trying to go to that new country or go to that new area, new city, whatever it is, and you introduce yourself, you're like, hey, I want to come to this new area. They don't want to get overpopulated with people who don't have anything to bring to the table. Consider life as a potluck. And I know a lot of times people say your network is your net worth, or your net worth is your network is your net worth, meaning that if you got a circle of people around you, then that's a part of your net worth. Well, not if you're not bringing anything to the table. So that being said, life is like a potluck. You need to at least be bringing something to the table in order for your net worth to increase. I don't care if you bring beverages. I don't care if you bring the bread, the meat, the side. I don't care if you bring plastic cutlery. You need to bring something to the table in order to increase your net worth. And this is what I mean. So what are some ways that you can think about increasing your influence, your reach, and increasing your skills in order to bring in the money? If you focus on these two areas, I guarantee you will increase your net worth. So let's talk about it. Skills and influence. These are the main areas I want to speak on as it relates to increasing your net worth, because these are the areas that I think get left off, and a lot of people don't calculate this into their net worth when it does have value, when operated appropriately. So let's talk about skills. On a month-to-month, week-to-week basis, you need to be doing something to increase your skill set. This is why we spend a lot of time talking about, networking or posting in a way that gets people attracted to your page, understanding how to network with people and deal with people, or understanding how to win friends and influence people. All of those things are skills, people skills and networking skills and marketing skills. The ability to refer, just getting good at sharing the good news without being pushy, without being salesy. Just say, hey, this is something that I'm benefiting from. That's a skill that a lot of people lack. But if you hone in on it and focus on it week after week after week, and that skill increases, the money will come. Increasing your credit knowledge. You got a wealth of knowledge in the back office in the form of the My Credit system, that if you just watch a video a day, and most of those videos are less than 10 minutes, you will increase your credit knowledge, and you'll know more than over 69 million people in the world who have bad credit, because 69 million plus people have bad credit. So you have the tools readily available to you to increase your skills, but you have to be doing it consistently so that you become the expert. You will not hit the ranks of EVP Infinity until you are viewed as some form of an expert, until you are viewed as some form of somebody who can contribute or provide value. People join people, and many times they join people because they feel that they either A, have skills that can help them get to where they want to go, or B, they have influence that can contribute to them getting to where they want to go. So you want to be honing in on learning skills on a week-to-week basis. Find your areas that you're good at and get better at them. Find the areas that you would like to be good at and become great at it. Find the areas that you're not so good at and see if you can enhance it. Or hire somebody else to do those things, and you just get better and better at the other areas that you're more interested in. This is not to make you learn something you don't want to learn. This is for you to take what you might already be interested in or good at and become great at it. Once you're great at it, become phenomenal at it. Tax education, that's all in the back office as well. Some people maybe want to get good at understanding the tax laws because they're important, and it's a lot of people in the country who can benefit from somebody who understands the tax laws, understands tax education, and my econ positions you to do that. But now you have a skill, and skills is what bring in the money. So don't get down on yourself if you feel like people not joining me. You just haven't made yourself skillful enough. You just haven't made your influence strong enough. Your reach, your voice hasn't grown strong enough to where they feel comfortable with joining forces with you just yet. But that's okay, because your skills can increase week after week after week. You want to make weekly progress. Like I said, first you got to accept it, then you want to reject it immediately, set new goals, and progress it. You want to make weekly progress in all areas. Presenting is presenting something that you're not good at, presenting something that you're scared of or you're fearful of. You want to get good at presenting because that's a skill that pays the bills. A lot of times people are fearful of presenting, whether it's in the format like I'm doing now or on stage. They are fearful of it, but that means there's room for you, because if other people don't want to do it and you stand up, then your checks will go up. They told me that a long time ago, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I need to start presenting or sharing some information. They say when you stand up, your checks will go up because that's a skill. Now, there's a million other skills that you can hone in on and become better as an individual, but I promise you, if you understand the power and you increasing your skills, now you won't just be watching videos just to watch videos. You won't just be tuning in to somebody else's page or, you know, other sites just to be tuning in. You'll be watching so you can learn and develop a skill. You'll be watching a video so you can learn to teach somebody what it is that you just learned. You'll be doing things different. You'll read a book so you can take the skill that you learned from the book and apply it, and now you're maximizing your skill, which puts you in a position to attract money because your skill set has drawn in the income and you wouldn't focus solely on the money. Now let's talk about influence, because this is something that, you know, we're big on, and you haven't seen anything yet. We're about to increase this like you wouldn't believe, because I've been honing in on some skills. I've been making sure I'm really getting the back end work and understanding marketing and networking and, you know, credit knowledge. All of these things we're honing in on a daily basis. We're like in hibernation mode because we are increasing our skills, because we know that it'll contribute to increasing our influence. But influence is a part of your net worth. I know sometimes you might think it's social media is that's just social media, that's just Facebook, because a lot of people say that it's just on Facebook, that's just on Instagram. Big businesses are seeking out people who have influence on these platforms. Truth be told, some of the biggest social media accounts that have strong influence, strong followings, are really more known and in a position to have a stronger net worth than some of these people who are in Hollywood, literally, because people just want to know, or big businesses just want to know, where is all of the attention at. So if you have some voice, or you have an influence, if you have some reach on any of these platforms, guess what? Your net worth increase and money can follow if you understand how to feed your audience, if you understand how to provide skills to your audience, educate your audience, provide value to your audience. So Facebook is a platform that has billions of people on it. So your influence on that platform should be growing. You shouldn't be using it just to lollygag. We're not on Facebook playing around. Even if we post something family related, it's with a purpose. It's strategic. We're not just doing it just to be doing it. We want to connect with people in different ways. We look at all of these platforms as a business, as a part of increasing our net worth, day by day, bit by bit. So when you look at your Facebook, you want to scale it. Just like I said, scale your money. You want to look at, okay, how many Facebook friends do I have? Okay, if I have a like page, how many likes do I have? Each week it should increase. You accept it, you reject it by saying, okay, yeah, I only got 500 friends. I've been on Facebook 10 years and I only have 500 friends. I need to do something about that. I need to hurry up and get to 5,000. You reject it because you set a goal, and now week by week you progress it by providing value, by, you know, getting in certain groups and certain communities on Facebook. There's a ton of ways of doing it. Running ads, if you choose to run ads, it's an investment, it's a tax write-off. All of those things to make sure that your influence online is growing, because the stronger your influence is on these platforms, the more people you can reach, and the more your net worth increases, and the money will follow. Same with Instagram. If you're familiar with Instagram, or you prefer Instagram, because a lot of people are starting to prefer Instagram over Facebook. I know I kind of am, but we won't stop, because we understand that people move and shift. So we want to be on all platforms. But a lot of people are preferring Instagram. If that's your thing, then look at your followers. How many people are following you? Okay. What can you do to increase week by week? Week by week, and now you look up and you went from having 1,200 followers to 12,000 followers. Big difference in influence. They even treat you different because they allow you to get certain additional things added on your account once you get over 10,000 followers. It's important, and that's what we're working hard on, because we start understanding the power in having influence on these social platforms. So now we're teaching it to you as we're going through the process of doing it, and when you look up and see the progression, you can't say we didn't tell you. YouTube, we love YouTube. We got 300 plus videos on there. We're honing in on the skills of YouTube. It's a queen on this training right now. I believe she's still on. Her name is Miss Patty, and Miss Patty joined. It was about a week ago, and I called her immediately. She when she joined, I happened to see the email within 5 minutes. I called her right away. I said, "Hey, this is Mrs.Smith." She's like, "Wow, that was fast." I was like, "Yeah, just saw that you enrolled. Just wanted to let you know I'm here. Want to let you know that, you know, I have this is my personal contact number. I'm here to assist in any way possible." Asked a few questions about her. Come to find out, she's very familiar in the financial field. She understands debt elimination. She's tried different programs and platforms, but she wanted something that she can do herself. Connecting it back to YouTube, I said, "So hey, how did you stumble upon, you know, me and my link and decide to go ahead and get enrolled?" She said, "Well, you know, I was already doing things to help people with their finances, and I wanted to see how I can make money as a financial coach. And, you know, I typed it in and stumbled upon you, and there was your video." And I remember doing that video, and I was just doing it because I had the idea to do it, but I figured somebody may benefit from it. And we've done a ton of other videos, but you never know which video is going to resonate with somebody. You never know which video is going to be that video. YouTube is a search engine, so a lot of times people search for something, and they may stumble upon your content as Miss Patty did. And if you're providing enough value, they may feel comfortable enough to take that next step to see what else lies on the other side. She took that other step. I gave her a call, and now she knows, hey, I'm here to assist. She texts, let me know that she's following the process. She's plugging in. She's already completed some of the videos, because she knows she can help a ton of people with her prior knowledge, but also by using our platform and leveraging the system that we have. But had I not been putting videos on YouTube and growing the influence, growing the reach, then I never would have stumbled up on somebody who purpose or mission is to help others. She's really serious about helping other people. So understand that if you're not growing your influence or putting good value out there and scaling it, making sure that you're making some progress on a week-to-week basis, then you minimize the influence that you can have, which minimizes your net worth. All of these things tie back into your net worth. Email list. Some of this may be a little techie for certain people, but if you're building a database, if you have a website, it should have the ability to track emails. If you need help with that, let me know, because it's some things that I may be able to assist on in that area. But you want to be building a database, an email list, because here's the thing. Yes, I just talked highly of Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, but those are platforms that you do not control. If anything was to happen, which Facebook has shut down before, and it was the talk of the town. Instagram has had glitches before, and it was the talk of the town. YouTube, I can't recall it happening, but it can. And it may be the talk of the town, because you don't control any of these platforms. But if you start building a database, if you start building an email list, you control that email list, because you own those emails in that database. And as long as you're continuing to distribute things that they are interested in or things that they want to engage in, then they will remain on your email list without unsubscribing. But guess what? Now you have influence, you have a voice, you have an ability to communicate with all of the people that are on your email list because you started understanding that influence, network, your voice, your reach has value, and it is a part of your net worth. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. Your reach, your influence online has value, which is why Facebook even is the monster that it is now, because now they charge people to run ads to all of the people on Facebook based on just the database alone. You being on Facebook as well as many others. So all of that, the email list and the database has value. That's why Facebook is able to do what they're able to do, as well as the other platforms. So don't think that your influence does not have value. Now, as it relates to the influence, sometimes people may not want to be solely online. We get that. We understand it. We're doing a combination of both. I call it the hybrid model. I like to say that we do online and offline. I like to say that online should lead to offline. So yeah, we may have met online, but ultimately I plan to meet you offline, whether it's at an event, whether I'm in your area. I'm like, hey, I'm in the area, let's do a meeting, let's do a training, let's do something that can make this trip tax deductible. All of these things play a part of your influence, but that's online. What's your influence in your local area, in your community? How can you contribute? How can you start gaining more skills and start contributing to your local community? Here's what we're doing. We shared this before, but I don't mind sharing it again. Yesterday or the day before, I called the library, and we've done some things at the library before, but I called the event coordinator for the library and was like, hey, we want to bring the credit workshops to the library, just wanted to see what days you had open. She was like, oh, you want to do it again? How did it go last time? I said, oh, we had a great turnout. This happened. She put us on the calendar. She said, okay, let's lock in 3 days. So for the month of July, we have 3 days locked in. They're going to blast it out on their calendar, and to the people who, are subscribed to the library database. And now we're able to influence our community by providing value in the form of a free credit workshop. Once those people attend that workshop, we'll collect the names and numbers, give them a call, see if they want to get access to the full platform. And now we've grown our influence using the local areas, but also using the skills that we've developed and are developing inside of my econ. So think about that. What can you contribute to your local areas? Can you call some more apartment complexes, which is what we'll also be doing, is saying, hey, can your tenants benefit from, a free credit workshop to be held in your clubhouse? The list goes on. It could be a home meeting. It could be anything, but just having an influence in your community by you providing your skill is a part of your net worth, and it all leads to just having a funnel of prospects or future partners or people that you'll potentially do business with. This is why we're so big on you understanding how to prospect, pique interest, pass them to a tool that can give them a presentation and promote trainings and things of that nature, and ultimately get you promoted to where you're earning more income. All of this goes hand in hand. So understand that skills and influence is indeed a part of your net worth. Don't let anybody tell you anything different, but it's important for you to take a look at where you are. You might take a step back and say, you know what, I don't have any skills. Okay. Or you might say, I have skills, but it's nothing I'm going to monetize. You might be great at basketball, or great at singing, or great at art, or whatever it is, but you may say, you know what, I'm not going to do this professionally, so I need to find another skill that I can do that I like enough to continue to grow and enhance. And now you pick a skill and you grow that skill, because I promise you, it's the skill set that you bring to the table. Like I said, you got to bring something to the table. If you want to be amongst a network of people who are on a mission to be wealthy, then you must be bringing something to the table as well, in the form of a skill and or in the form of influence. So understand those things. Take a look at your scenario, accept it, then you must reject it in the form of setting a goal so you can progress it. And I say monitor it weekly. Write down all of these things. Write down everything that was shared on this screen. Your credit, your savings. What does your investment look like? What does your income look like? Your health and the goals that's associated with your health. Your influence, your reach. This is social. This is local, community, all of that. Your skills. Write all of these things down. Make a note or a number of where you feel you are. And each week or each month, at bare minimum, you should be able to scale some progression. So it should be in a year 12 times that you made some progress. So that way you look back a year later and you're like, wow, I'm a whole different person just because I started measuring it. A lot of times it's just because we don't measure the stuff, we don't realize that we're still in the same place. But I promise you, if you start measuring it, you'll realize, okay, I want to definitely make sure my credit is increasing, my savings is increasing, my money and income is increasing, my influence and skills are increasing, because all of those things play a part in having net worth. So that's how you increase your net worth, kings and queens. That's all I got. I will open it up for a short amount of time if anybody want to unmute themselves, if anyone has questions. But I just really wanted to paint a picture that net worth isn't just money. And I want you to understand that if you make yourself skillful, if you make yourself more influential, money will come. So focus on those things day in, day out, because those are the things that will really separate you from the pack as it relates to building your My Econ business and just building yourself as an individual. A lot of people won't tell you that you need to develop a skill for yourself that can contribute to, your net worth. A lot of people won't tell you that your influence actually does matter. You shouldn't be only consuming other people's content. They won't tell you that. But I will, because I want to see you win. And that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions before we wrap it up? I got a little time for a few questions, then I have to hop on a call. Didn't want to keep you here too long, but if you would like to ask a question, feel free to unmute. Other than that, I believe this call is fully recorded, and I will let you know when that recording is available. So without further ado, questions going once, questions, comments, concerns going twice. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the royaltymovement.com email list. Subscribe to the royaltymovement.com email list so you can stay in the loop of everything that's going on. And stay focused on your goals, because a lot of times distractions rob us of our goals. Questions going the third time. I don't see anybody who has unmuted. If you want to unmute, all you have to do is tap those three heads. Then it'll give you the option to unmute yourself, just in case you didn't see that tab. So I will conclude with this. You see, we live in a world where we are conditioned for failure. And oftentimes we're programmed or fooled into mediocrity. So people find themselves living like peasants instead of the royalty that they were meant to be. But you see, here in the royalty movement, we see the king in you. We see the queen in you from start to finish. It's just time to take your seat on the throne. Because this is where we uplift your character, your confidence, and your cash flow. As royalty, you should establish a solid financial foundation that will soon lead to your abundance and thriving empire. Take your seat on the throne. You are royalty. Salute. Y'all have a good night. Love y'all. Talk soon.